I want to emphasize, this is such an unpopular opinion. Such an unpopular opinion. Everyone loves this series. Everyone loves this series. Hi there, I'm Marina, or Marina, however you want to pronounce that, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today, I thought I'd do my February reading wrap-up. Not that there's much to wrap up, or there's too much to, I don't even know how to put that. February was not the best reading month for me, and I kind of just want to forget it, but I do still want to make this video. So we're just gonna have to dip back into these books one more time and discuss what needs to be discussed, and then I want to wipe them from my brain. Okay? Let's do that. Also, I'd like to address the lovely situation happening on the other side of my face. I have a cystic acne breakout for the first time in like 2 years, I believe. I'm on birth control for my acne, and it has kept my cystic acne at bay for like 3 years now. And a couple days ago, this fucker showed up, and now the entire side of my nose and my under eye is swollen and disfigured. So if the shadows are playing weirdly on my under eye on this side of my face, you'll know why. I did my best to cover it up, and I'm not having a good time with it. So she's there. We have an extra friend joining us today, and we're just gonna have to work with that. And it's just, yeah, if my smile is uneven, that's also why, because there's swelling on the other side of my face and my smile is uneven. Like, my mouth will just kick up higher on this side, and then this one will just look a little wonky. So, you know, it's just, overall, we're just having a jolly old time over here. On another note though, I got my nails done yesterday, and this is probably my favorite set that I've had this far. Like, I don't know how close I need to put them so you can see them. I saw an inspiration pic on Pinterest, and I was like, ooh, I might want to do that. And then Larry did it, so obviously I was like, that was the confirmation I needed, that it is time to try something different with my nails than just the plain old one color that I always do. Okay, now that we've chatted about my friend here and my nails, let's just get to the books. So I read 6 books in February, and it was all just one series. And that series was... fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to put this, that series was Devil's Night by Penelope Douglas. There's 4 books and 2 vanillas. There was no vanilla in this. I will testify to that. There was no vanilla to be seen anywhere. I kind of missed it. There's 4 main books and 2 novellas, and I read them all for some reason. Okay, let's get to it. The first book is called Corrupt. It's about Michael and Rika. The trope is kind of like boyfriend's older brother, yet kind of not. So Michael and Rika have kind of grown up together in a sense where their families are really close together. And when Rika was younger, her father passed away in a car crash, and then her mom did not deal with it well and started self-medicating in not the best ways, and so she spent most of her time at like the house next door, which was Michael's, and what was his brother's name? Trevor? I don't think that's it. Was he Trevor? Here's how important this man is. I've forgotten his name already. But anywho, so there's 2 brothers and the parents, so she spent her days at that house. And ever since she was born, the families have kind of been pushing her and the younger son kind of together to kind of unite the families and all their assets, because these are just a bunch of rich white folks living in this expensive fancy area in this town called Thunder Bay. Where is it located? I don't think we ever find out. They're all fictional places. I know there's a bigger city around called Meridian City. But anywho, so they've been kind of pushing her and the younger son together since she was little, but she's always had a big old crush on Michael, the older brother. Now, Michael is one of a group of 4 guys called the 4 Horsemen. Yeah, I wish I made that name up. So the 4 Horsemen are basically 4 guys who just never matured past the age of 12. And so they run around this town wearing these Halloween masks, wreaking havoc and pulling pranks and destroying property and just, you know, wreaking havoc. And kind of everyone knows who they are, but it's not like confirmed because they all wear their masks. But people also do know who the four horsemen are, but no one cares and no one can really do anything about it because they're all rich ass nepo babies whose dads have a bunch of money and influence. So they're like, what are you gonna do about it? My dad's gonna bail me out of jail in like an hour. So these men, you know, they sound great. They sound like real stand-up guys. And a couple of years ago, 3 of the guys out of the 4 were sent to prison because they were dumb enough to film their pranks, and then someone got the phone and just released all the footage, so they got caught. So everyone except for Michael went to prison. And these guys are now out, and they think Rika was the one who leaked the footage. So these guys have spent years and years of plotting and scheming and planning on how to take their revenge on this girl with no absolute physical evidence that it was ever her who leaked this footage. So all the books take place in like a past present timeline. So it was in the past, it's like high school, Rika being younger, having a crush on Michael, and then it's present day, she's going off to college, moving out on her own. The 3 other guys, Kai, Damon, and Will, are out of prison. So Michael, Kai, Damon, and Will are now starting to execute their plan on how they're going to take revenge on this 20-something girl and how they're gonna absolutely brutalize and traumatize and terrorize her. But it's also a romance, you know, between Michael and Rika. So, yeah. The guys were so awful. Like, the things they did, what they were planning on doing to her, they even involved her mom in it. It was so just bad. And not like a normal, like, hee ha dark romance bad where you're like, you know, they're kind of bad, but it's like, come on. No, I was like, come on, what are you doing? And she has no idea why they're doing this to her. She has no idea that they blame her, that they think it was her who leaked the footage, who caused the 3 guys to go to prison. She has no idea why they're doing this to her. And meanwhile, Michael also has always in some sort reciprocated Rika's feelings, so he's also kind of using that to his advantage to play with her, is to finally feeding to the crush that he knows she's had on him since they were children. And it's so fucked up. So yeah, that's essentially the plot of book 1 that's pretty much all in the back of the book. I swear to God. There's more. There's so much more, and it gets so much worse. But yeah, that's book 1. Book 2 follows Kai and Banks. The trope I can't really tell you because it's a spoiler. Then book 3 follows Damon and Winter. So it's basically like Damon's redemption arc, because Damon is definitely the darkest out of all the guys. It took me so long to disassociate him from Damon Salvatore. It was just bad. I was like, no, do not. Damon is in his own league. He does not deserve to be compared to this Damon that we're doing here. Damon Salvatore and Damon Torrance, no, do not even compare. And then the last book is Will and Emery. Kai and Banks, it was like forbidden because of the trope that I can't really tell you about. Also, past, present timeline. Also, he blamed her somehow from her going to prison. All of the books kind of follow the same formula of it's past and present, is high school, and now modern day once the guys are out of prison. And it's kind of them blaming the girl somehow for them going to prison in the first place and taking revenge on the girl, while simultaneously also, like, there's the mutual push and pull of attraction that happened in high school that's kind of resurfacing now. And it's just, yeah. So that's Kai and Banks' book. I didn't mind that one. Then there's Damon and Winter's book. Winter's blind, so I did like that representation and being in her head for that. I did like Damon at times. Like, did the redemption work? Kind of ish, maybe. Would I touch that man with a 10-foot pole? No. Winter also did dumb things. Like, none of these FMCs are either someone you like look up to and you're like, yeah, go girl. Most of the time I was like, girl, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, these were not real people. These were not real people making real decisions. Obviously, it's fiction, so they're not. But still, in order for you to like a book and love a book, you're usually like, oh my god, these people are real to me. I love them so much. No. Like, 85% of these books is me going, what the fuck is going on? And none of this makes any fucking sense. None of it. The plot was kind of there, but the way it was executed and the pacing was just off. And then we finally get to Will and Emery's book, which, again, shockingly, past and present. So they met in high school, had crushes on each other, something awful happened. He goes to prison, and then he somehow blames her for it, and then he comes back and decides to take revenge on this poor girl who just kind of did nothing wrong. I swear to God, these books drove me insane. So that's the 4 main books, and then there's 2 novellas. There's Conclave, which is like, it's like book 3.5, so it's between Damon and Will's book. It's between Kill Switch and Nightfall. Kyan Banks' book is called Hideaway, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. But yeah, so Corrupt, book 1 was Michael and Rika. Hideaway, book 2 was Kyan Banks. Kill Switch, book 3 was Damon and Winter. Then we had the novella Conclave. Then we have book 4, Will and Emery. And then we have one more novella, which is called Fire Night, which was this random ass Christmas novella that just turned into like a horror movie, basically. Conclave, I think I like that the best out of all of them. Here's the thing. I like the couples once they've gotten together. I don't like how they get there. I like some of the past tense time, then the present of them terrorizing the girl and being absolutely awful, and I'm like, girl, why would you ever go to him? I'm like, absolutely not. But then the couple gets together, and then I'm somehow softened up to them a little bit, because I am a romantic at heart, so what am I supposed to do? So then I'm like, kind of like, okay, I don't mind them, but the only thing I liked about this series that I can strongly say that I liked was the found family, when we then finally had all the couples together, or at least halfway there, before Will and Emery, when we had Kyan Banks, Michael and Rika, and then Winter and Damon, where like, well, when all the couples get together and they're this very dysfunctional, toxic, messed up found family, but they're all equally messed in the head, so it's like entertaining, and I do like the back and forth and their dynamic as like a group of people. Like, they even say that they're the family they chose, which, like, good for them, because their families also so messed up. Like, again, I mean, I mentioned they're nepo babies and all of their dads are rich men in power, so are we expecting these men to be good people? Exactly. Some very effed up shit too. Like, obviously it's a dark romance, so check your trigger warnings if you're gonna read this. Just alone from how the guys terrorize them, it's like all of these. Okay, let me get, but yeah. Lastly, like, Will and Emery's book, it was okay. I liked the whole concept of the whole black church thing, but then the execution again, not there. I didn't really like Emery. Like, she started pissing me off, and again, making no goddamn sense. Like, it's just the decisions and actions of these women too were like, where's the thought process? How did we end up here? Can you see that these books kind of drove me to the brink of insanity? Like, yeah. Conclave, the novella in between was okay. The novella afterwards, half of it was okay. The ending was so weird. But yeah, check your trigger warnings. There's a lot of talk of essay, and there was also some essay on page in book 3 specifically that I felt was unnecessary. There is a big trigger warning going into one of the books. There is parental essay, so there is a family member sexually abusing their child, and some of that was written on page, and it wasn't that graphic, but I don't understand why that was necessary. I don't understand why that was necessary for the story. We knew this had happened to the character. We knew the repercussions of that. We knew how they acted because of it. We understood that character more because of it. But there were also some very, very dark things thrown in there, and they never had any resolve. Never discussed. So it was kind of just really dark, heavy topics and trauma for the sake of trauma. But then they were suddenly just on the other side of that. And there was also scenes where FMCs would kind of use that trauma, weaponize that trauma towards the MMC in a fight where I wanted to throw my Kindle across the room. I read all of these on my Kindle, by the way. Thank God I don't own physical evidence of this. I would probably burn them. And like, I want to emphasize, this is such an unpopular opinion. Such an unpopular opinion. Everyone loves the series. Everyone loves this series. Like, the last two books, Killswitch and Nightfall, have like a 4 point something average on Goodreads. Like, people I love and trust their reviews and their recommendations have rated some of these books 5 stars, and I wanted to love them so bad. Like, this book series gave me FOMO because I wanted to love them so bad, so I kept just kept going to the next book and kept going to the next book and kept going to the next book, being like, okay, maybe this is the one that will finally convince me to love this. And no, not a single book was above 3 stars. Except one novella. I think I gave Conclave 3.5 stars, which is hella generous, but it was just because the last 2 books had been so bad that I was like, oh my god, this is actually, like, I'm actually liking this. Is it a 3.5 star book? Probably not. But yeah, I basically gave all 4 books 3 stars, and that's generous. But my rating system is kind of, there's 6 stars, which is like obviously God tier, put that in my casket when you bury me. 5 stars, absolute perfection, loved it. Book 4 stars, loved it, this was amazing. 3 stars, I liked it, it was okay. 2 stars, I did not like this. And then 1 star, which I've never given a book because I've never DNF'd a book. I think 1 star would be either I DNF'd it or I hated this. So kind of, I feel like All of Devil's Night should kind of be a 2 star, but I don't want to be mean. Because again, I did binge all 6 books. So obviously there was something in them that kept me hooked, kept me going beyond, you know, the desperation of just hoping it would get better. But yeah, the couples, like I said, how they got together, there was never any resolve. There was the past when they met when they were young and innocent and naive. And then there was the present when the girls were being terrorized, and then just giving in to the guy, and then they're just suddenly together. And like, not a single one of these couples actually had like a conversation about anything. It was just bullying and terrorizing, and then just smut. And these books weren't even that smutty, I will say. Like, I was expecting worse. Like, all of them were somewhat of slow burns. I will say one thing. This author loves a party of 3. Loves a party of 3, if you know what I mean. Like, when it happened the first time, I was like, okay, I mean, fun. But when it was like 3rd, 4th time territory, I was like, bro, let's just say the whole friend group and family, they're really close and comfortable with each other, which, like, amazing for them. Love that for them. Was it for me? Not necessarily. And again, it's not like I went into these books not knowing what was to come. Like, it's dark romance. I had read some of these scenes on Book Talk back in the day because these are a very popular book series. But yeah. Also, the ways they would terrorize the girls, there was so much talk and threat of SA. Like, their go-to tactic of scaring the girls and threatening girls was just threatening rape. To the point where it happened so much that I kind of got desensitized to it, which obviously you never want to happen. But by the time I'm on like book 4, and we're threatening rape, I'm like, wow, really? That's the insult? That's the threat? Like, you got no new material, my dude? Bravo. Good for you. Like, Yeah, so I wanted to love the series so bad. So I was really upset. And then I was just starting to get burnt out, and I was like, I'm not someone who wants to leave something unfinished. Like, I do always want to finish a series if I'm in the middle of it. And it was just like 4 books. Why did I read the Christmas novella afterwards? We don't know. We don't know. That one was like a post-gen situation where it was all of them with their, well, spoiler alert, their kids. And then they kind of set up a whole plot line for the kids, but then the acknowledgement especially said that there would be no books for the kids. So it kind of just left off on a cliffhanger that's just gonna hang there till the end of time, because there's not gonna be any more books. Yeah. I think my favorite book of the series might have been Corrupt. Like, I think Michael and Rika were the only couple that I even felt a little bit of something for. Like, they were the only ones that evoked any emotion in me where I was like, okay, actually, like, this is kind of not sweet. But they had their moments where I was like, okay, I do really like this trope of like her having always had a crush on him and him kind of being also interested in her, but then staying in a background because his family so clearly wanted her for his brother, which is also fucked. So yeah, Corrupt, maybe my favorite, so maybe that's like a 3-star. Then Hideaway, I honestly barely remember this book, so maybe it's like a 2.75. Kill Switch, I don't know, like somewhere between 2.5 and 3 stars. It's just, yeah, random as hell. And then Conclave, I think I'll keep it at 3.5 just because I think it's hilarious that the 100-page novella was my favorite because it was just all of them together being chaotic. And then book four, I think I'll honestly give 2.5 because it just, like, I loved them in high school so much. I loved their past, but then they both disappointed me in present day. And the way things were resolved, again, just pissed me off. Okay, so yeah, Nightfall, 2.5 stars. I'm so sorry, that's like everyone's favorite book. And Will was my favorite MMC going into that book, but then I was just so disappointed. Like, I liked him better in other people's books. Then Fire Knight, yeah, 2.5, 2.75, because the fuck? I'm so sorry. I did not want this wrap up to be just me shitting on this series. Like I said, I wanted to love this. Everyone who does love this series, I love that for you. I'm so happy for that because, like, I just, yeah. And that was all I ended up reading in February because it did put me kind of in a slump eventually. I was thinking on last day of February, I was kind of like, okay, it's the last day. I have the night off. Like, let me just like quickly binge read something so I have something else to say in my wrap up until I like kind of heard myself. And I was like, I'm not going to force myself to read just so I can talk about it on YouTube, you know? So yeah, that was February. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. I was entertained at times. Like, again, I did binge all 6 books. Like, there was something that kept me hooked, something that kept me going back. Insanity, probably. Yeah. So overall, Devil's Night by Penelope Douglas. Overall, I would maybe give it like a 3-star, I think. We'll probably never read any more from Penelope Douglas, though. I've read Credence just for entertainment's sake, and I've read Five Brothers also just purely for entertainment's sake. So yeah, I think that's it. That's gonna be it for me and Penelope Douglas. If you do like her books, I would still recommend you to read this. If you love dark romance, I would still recommend you to read this, because again, I am very much in the minority here and not loving this series. Luckily, March is already off to a much better start. I have so many fun books that I'm reading this month. If you saw my wrap up last week, I'm so excited for the books I'm reading. I'm currently in the middle of fantasy series that I am having a good time with. In Her Own League just came out, so I'm gonna read that next week once I'm done with the series I'm currently in the middle of. I think my next video next week will be like a 24-hour reading challenge. I've been dying to do one of those, and I have so much to read right now, so obviously me having a full uninterrupted 24 hours to read will help me get along with my TBR a lot. So stay tuned for that. I'm sorry if this was a very negative Nelly review slash video and whatever, but yeah, it happens. Like I said, I wanted to love it. It just wasn't for me. Okay, that's it. I gotta go to work now. I hope you enjoyed this video, regardless of my complaining about everything. And I will see you in the next one next Saturday. Bye, guys!